The first month of 2026 didn't have too much in store for us. We did see some exciting things like Final Fantasy VII Remake coming to Xbox and Nintendo platforms for the first time, or Nioh Memories in Orbit, which is a fun Metroidvania. It was a noticeably slower start to the year though, and it was a good time for a lot of people, including myself, to visit their backlogs. That is not the case for February though, as there are a ton of quality game releases. I've sifted out the most notable ones to share with you, 10 in fact, which is enough for 2.5 a week if you are so inclined. If you want to support the channel, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, or even sharing with your friends. If you don't like it, then leave a thumbs down and let me know how I can be better for you. There are more than 10 games that come out in February of course, so if there is anything else you want to shout out, then do so in the comments below. With the housekeeping out the way, let's dive into the list. Over the last couple of years, we have seen remakes for Dragon Quest 1 through 3 in Square Enix's famous HD 2D art style. This year, Dragon Quest VII is getting a remake, or rather a reimagining, but this time it isn't in the HD 2D style. Instead, the vision for this one is 3D characters that look like miniature figurines. The environments and towns also have a diorama style aesthetic to bring the 2000 original soaring into the beautiful modern age of graphics. The UI and menus have been broken into tabs that bring much needed quality of life enhancements. This goes further with difficulty settings and full voice acting throughout the game. The battle system has also seen an overhaul. While it remains as turn-based, there is the ability to fight enemies on field in action combat where weaker ones can be defeated without entering the battle screen. In addition to this, players can now see weaknesses and resistances of enemies, be able to speed up battles, and there's even a new vocation. Speaking of vocations, ReAnimal introduces the moonlighting job system, which allows each character to equip 2 vocations at once. The original title is known for its huge completion time with an average of over 75 hours just to complete the main story. Square have said that the refinements in ReAnimal would streamline and bring down this playtime, but the truth is still out on that one. If you can't wait to jump in, then there is a demo up now in which your progress will carry over to the main game when Dragon Quest VII Reimagined releases on February 5th for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 1 and 2, and PC. A beloved game series getting its third mainline installment is next. Team Ninja return with their fan favorite action souls-like Nioh. This game is set in Japan but across different time periods as the protagonist has the ability to traverse time. The land is filled with the fiendish yokai as hell has taken hold and you must defeat them to become the savior. The two main differences of Nioh 3 are the combat styles and the open field areas. There are samurai and ninja combat styles which can be switched between them to tactically defeat your foes. The samurai style is a hard-headed, powerful approach that enhances martial arts and deflects. This is the one that will feel most like the previous 2 titles. The ninja style is centered around agility and swift movements. A lot of the focus here is with dodging, aerial attacks, and ninjutsu techniques. Each style will have its own loadout, which I understand can be switched on the fly during fights. These loadouts will have different weapons and abilities depending on whether it is samurai or ninja, so it really will feel like completely different fighting styles. The other difference I mentioned were the open field areas. These are open zone areas which can and should be explored, and each one contains something called a crucible. The crucibles are more linear challenge dungeons where you can test your mettle against tough enemies, gravity, and bosses, which will always be your final hurdle. There is a demo dropping on January 29th where you can give this one a try ahead of its release on February 6th for PS5 and PC. The next game from the creators behind The Binding of Isaac and Super Meat Boy is coming in February. Mewgenics is a turn-based tactics RPG that involves breeding and mutating cats. This game is a run-based system where you take a team of 4 out into the map and try and get as far as you can. The map is randomly generated, so each point is always different. Each cat has its own stat spread, which can be further differentiated by the class colors, which are things like warrior, tank, and mage. Each one also has a passive ability and a special ability depending on the traits they inherit from their parents. Each combat encounter is on an isometric tile grid where turn-based actions take place. Each cat can move, attack, and use a special or item each turn. Cats will level up across the run and find rare equipment as you do so. When you finish a run and return to the house, you can start the breeding. Cats will die of old age in this game or become retired after runs, so the breeding portion is important. Cats get new traits or inherit traits from their parents, or even become mutated if the cats that mate are too close in relation. This enhances further runs and exponentially raises your ability to do well in the game. This title features features a whole range of kooky characters and many gameplay systems that you could sink hundreds of hours into. There are several hours worth of Let's Play videos up now from one of the creators if you want to check this game out in action ahead of its release on February 10th for PC. If you want a game that looks incredibly unhinged and features a main character called Romeo who has a love interest called Juliet, then Romeo is a Dead Man is the game for you. This is coming from Grasshopper Manufacture, led by Suda51, and is being labelled as ultra-violent science fiction. Romeo Stargazer is a man whose life nearly ended before suddenly being saved due to a time paradox. Now you must travel across all of space and time to hunt fugitives as an FBI space-time special agent. Obviously. The ultra-violent bloody action they refer to comes in the form of third-person action where Romeo switches between melee weapons and guns. From the trailers you can see the over-the-top blood-spewing in every direction vision that they are taking. The story is told through comic book graphics as well as over-the-top cutscenes and sometimes even from Romeo's grandpa, who is a patch stitched onto the back of his jacket. This is the high-octane, heavy-breathing, intense, non-stop action we have come to expect from Suda51, with not only the combat but the music and visuals assaulting you from all angles. Inside this wrapper is a relatively competent looking action RPG with leveling systems and several weapons to unlock and use. It even utilizes a system called Bastards, which are zombies that you can grow back at your base and then summon to fight for you in battles. There are big boss fights to end out the chapters, and those who got hands-on previews this month showcase the first two, which already look completely different in their playstyles. Romeo is a Dead Man looks like an enjoyable action romp which you can turn your brain off and just get stuck into the insanity when it releases on February 11th for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. Nintendo are releasing their next Mario title in February with Mario Tennis Fever. This is the next of many Mario sports titles we have seen over the years, and this one is shaping up to look really fun. It's been almost 8 years since the last Mario Tennis game, which was the positively reviewed Mario Tennis Aces. Fever seems to be taking massive strides to make this experience bigger and better. There are 38 playable characters, which is the most in the series history, as well as several game modes. You can play a traditional round-based tournament or another mode which incorporates all the crazy wonder effects from Super Mario Wonder. There is even an adventure mode which acts as a campaign where you can play as the baby characters trying to defeat bosses to get back to normal. The main feature this title is based around are the Fever Rackets. There are 30 of these to use and each one come with their own special power. One could spew flames onto the court, or one could freeze the ground to make the opponent slip. There are lots of fun mechanics to try. The Fever Racket's power is built up through rallies until the bar is full and the power can be unleashed. When an opponent is hit with a fever attack, they will lose HP, which makes this the first sports game I can remember where there is a HP system. It is pretty exciting to see a Mario sports game that seems to be so packed with content, and it may be the first one I jump into in over a decade. Mario Tennis Fever can be played with up to 4 players in local co-op or online multiplayer when it releases on February 12th for the Nintendo Switch 2. High on Life was that 2022 title that looked like it was straight out of Rick and Morty, a game where your guns have personalities and spew profanities and sexual innuendos for the entirety of your playthrough. In February we get its sequel, but rather than playing as an innocent kid who got teleported to space by an alien invasion, you are now a seemingly robust intergalactic soldier showing your evolution over time. The talking weapons make a return here with some familiar faces and voices from the first title, but there are also some new ones thrown into the mix. Comedy aside, High on Life is a robust first-person shooter title, and High on Life 2 is looking like it's the same apart from one main new feature: a skateboard. Looking at the videos of the demo previews shows that the skateboard can be used at any point. It doubles as your run, but you can also ping it towards enemies for some damage if you want to. The level design has ramps and grind rails incorporated into them for far more enjoyable traversal. The distinguishing things for me in High on Life was not just the comedy, but also the one-of-a-kind boss fights. These were fights that had you doing things far beyond simple first-person shooter gameplay. I'm happy to say that returns in the sequel, as the boss of the demo has you chasing him through the game's menus before ending in a different game altogether. Squanch Switch games are really stepping up with everything I've seen so far, and I'm excited to check out High on Life 2 when it drops on February 13th for PS5, Xbox Series, Switch 2, and PC. A game I am really looking forward to is ReAnimal. This is simply because of my newfound love for co-op experiences these past couple of years. ReAnimal is being developed by Tarsier Studios, who you may know as the creators of Little Nightmares 1 and 2. These games clearly offer the inspiration here, as the imprint on ReAnimal is undeniable. It is a co-op horror adventure where you take control of brother and sister who are trying to find their missing friends. Set on a dark and terrifying island, you must navigate past the horrors that reside there, and judging by the trailers, some of these monsters are incredibly scary and unsettling. We got to see some spider creature, a goat creature, some melting clay looking freak shows. It's enough to send shivers down your spine. The atmosphere is on point, and what goes a long way to achieving this is the lighting and audio design. In these trailers, everything is silent apart from the creaking, cracking and screeching of everything around you. At the same time, the world is dimly lit, often through a tunnel stream of light from a torch or lantern. These combine to give the intense and claustrophobic feel of ReAnimal. If you struggle to understand what I mean, go and check out the trailers and you'll feel it right away. This island can be traversed by boat or on foot, and each offer a different style of threat as you fight to survive. This game can be played in local or online co-op, and also a single player, although I'm not sure how well that option would work. The developers also recently announced that this title would have a friend pass, meaning only one person needs to own the game when playing online co-op, which is a great feature we have seen used by Hazelight with their titles. There is a demo available now if you want to try it ahead of release, as ReAnimal drops on February 13th for Xbox Series, PS5, Switch 2 and PC. Demon Tides is an upcoming 3D platformer described as deeply expressive from developers Fabraz, pulling from the game's Steam page. Follow Beebs and her crew on a journey of self-discovery as they travel the vast oceans of Ragnar's Rock in this vast platforming adventure. Navigate the open seas and explore each distant structure, uncovering every hidden nook and cranny with a diverse, expressive moveset. Beat challenges or find hidden chests to collect talismans along the way that modify your abilities and allow you to express yourself through your schmovement. You can even switch up your drip with a plethora of discoverable outfits. And never forget, you're not alone in this journey. Compete with other players for speedrunning times by challenging their ghosts, or tag a wall and share your message with the entire world. Are you ready to conquer this kingdom and expose all of its mysterious secrets, or will Beebs be crushed by what awaits her? Only one way to find out. Demon Tides sounds like it is pretty content rich, and the trailers we've got so far are action packed. If you want to give this game a try ahead of its release, there is a Steam demo up now that you can jump into. Demon Tides releases on February 19th for PC. In February, Styx makes a return as the third game in the series with Styx Blades of Greed. As he is a master of stealth, these titles have always held that aspect at their core. The story here is a grand heist to obtain quartz, a mysterious power source. This quartz is a catalyst of new powers, and combined with some new tools makes a stealth experience that expands upon the foundations of the previous games. Use clones, invisibility, mind control, time shifts and other abilities to figure out how to best approach each encounter and strike from the shadows. You can scale walls with your claws, use a grapple and even a glider to enhance the traversal. This verticality should be utilized to approach your enemies from above, as people rarely look up. This game is going for a free roam open zone style world with 3 distinct areas: the boundary of the human world called the Wall, Turquoise Dawn, which is an orc village, and Arkanash, the elven capital. Blades of Greed even has Metroidvania style progression, where each new tool you unlock will allow you to access previously inaccessible areas across the 3 zones. From the most recent gameplay trailers, the things that stick out to me most are how much better the graphics and animations look. I also can't help but think of Dishonored, which is a series I adore. We don't often get stealth games nowadays, so if you like that genre, then grab this one when Styx Blades of Greed releases on February 19th for PS5, Xbox Series and PC. And lastly, to end the month, we have the real big hitter, Resident Evil 9, or officially titled Resident Evil Requiem. I am super excited for this game as I love my survival horrors, and this one in particular is trying something new to appeal to all fans of the franchise. In Requiem, we will switch between 2 playable characters at different points of the story. This isn't like Resident Evil 2 where we do an A-side, B-side campaign. Both the characters are integral to the story and gameplay will flow between them. The 2 protagonists in question are fan favourite Leon Kennedy and newbie Grace Ashcroft. In the most recent Resident Evil showcase from Capcom, we got to see how these 2 playstyles differentiate. Grace is completely survival horror, while Leon is fun action and over-the-top combat. The games they are trying to impersonate here are 2 and 7 with the Grace segments and 4 with the Leon segments, which is music to my ears as these are easily the best Resident Evil titles. With Grace, we will be sneaking around hiding from monsters with limited ammo and desperately trying to survive. With Leon, we will be blasting off heads and roundhouse kicking zombies into oblivion. In the trailers, we get to see his hatchet, which is used for parries, which I guess will replace the knife. The other things of note are the zombies themselves, which will hold on to the lifestyles they had when they were alive. For example, we saw a cleaner in the hotel who was desperately trying to wash the mirrors, or an attendant who was flicking the lights on and off. I thought this was a really immersive touch and I'm excited to see how far they go with this. In addition to this, there are 3 difficulty settings, one of which sees the return of ink ribbons to make saves for that added difficulty. You can also switch between 3rd and 1st person on both characters at any point from the pause menu. Resident Evil Requiem drops on February 27th for Xbox Series, PS5, Nintendo Switch 2 and PC. That's a pretty packed month for February to really kick off the 2026 gaming scene. Once again, this is not everything releasing in February, but the things that I thought were most notable. If there is anything you want to shout out, then put it in the comments below to make others aware. March is already starting to shape up nicely, so look out for that video coming in about a month's time. There are loads of games that have a 2026 window with no firm release date yet, so the gaming calendar is still looking a bit bare for the whole year, but I imagine these showcases will start hitting in the next few months to really shore up those dates. Check out my channel for a breakdown of the most recent Xbox Developer Direct or a review of Unbeatable. If you enjoy this content, please consider leaving a like and subscribe, or leave a thumbs down and I'll try to be better next time. 2026 gaming has just begun, so for everything else, casual gamer, keep it here. Peace and love.